I'd like to just introduce myself. My name is Mandy Ray. I'm the Senior Development Representative overseeing the veterinary technology market here at Trajecsys. And I want to thank you guys for just taking time this afternoon to come and just learn about how Trajecsys can support your program. And we do have a short video, but first I really wanted to just take this opportunity to introduce our panelists as well. So first we have Jackie Howard. Jackie has worked at SUNY Delhi in the Veterinary Science Technology program for 30 years. Her work has been primarily in clinical pathology lecture and lab. Jackie has an MBA and LVT degrees, and in the fall of 2016, she completed a sabbatical leave at Cornell in the clinical pathology lab. Jackie has twin daughters and is a new grandmother, and she resides in the Catskill Mountains of New York. And then next we have Haley. Haley is a licensed veterinary technician in the Louisville, Kentucky area. She graduated from Morehead State University and has worked in a variety of large animal general practices and emergency environments. Before heading into higher education in February of 2021. Haley is currently the program director of the NAVTA approved veterinary tech assistant program at Caris College. So now I'm going to just go ahead and share our video.
Trajecsys can support vet tech programs by eliminating paper forms, providing data in real time, and customizing individual programs. You're able to view, document, and report on tracking of essential skills in the lab and/or during externships seamlessly with online reporting, and to include externship time and attendance tracking with GPS locations and evaluations. The Trajecsys system has all 364 essential skills available in its system for vet tech programs that can be easily cloned for a new program. The ability to provide customized rubrics with essential skills, Trajecsys can update changes to the CVTEA skills in real time. And we're proud to support our programs with the unparalleled knowledge and expertise of our support team.
So just a quick little video that, yay, we finally got the sound on. So that worked out well. But now, Jackie, I just really want to open it up to you and take this opportunity to let you just kind of share exactly how you're using the system. I know that there was a little bit of progression. You started a little bit slower and then have started to implement a little bit more. So if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about how you got started with this.
Absolutely, Mandy. I work for SUNY Delhi, and just to preface this with the fact that SUNY Delhi admits between 130 and 150 students each fall semester. So marking essential skills for us is a big deal. And we started in 2019, and we started pretty slowly with just checking essential skills. We all have rubrics in our program, and we put in our rubrics, and that's what we use to check off the students. And most of us check off the students as we're actually the student is doing the skill. And so that's really, and it's turned out to be really the way that we have these big, huge packets of skills, and we used to check off the skills on another piece of paper and then go back in and put them in. And we've just found that using the program and checking off the skills at the time we're doing them has really been amazing. So we went through, obviously, COVID in the middle of all of this, and it was great having the program through that. And then this summer, what we did is we started having our preceptorship sites use Trajecsys to check off essential skills. And so we just started doing that. We started, like you say, Mandy, slowly. And then we got into the mentors checking off the essential skills. The mentors on Trajecsys can do evaluations, and the students can do evaluations of the site. The mentors do evaluations of the students and check off the essential skills that they need to do. We started, probably it was in maybe 21 that we started using the GPS to track where students were when they were in our facility, which is amazing to me. We can track exactly where they are. And the reason why we did that is because we have our anesthesia labs, and the animals are recovering after their students go back to class. And so the students are required to come between their classes, check the animals. If they're ready to get put back in their home cage, they do that. But they have to actually check in on Trajecsys when they get to the recovery room and actually put that animal away. So it makes it super easy there's always an instructor wandering around, but it makes it easy for the instructor of record to make certain they know where that student was and that animal was cared for by that student. So, and it's, at some point, I was just going to add one more thing. At some point, what we want to do too is you can look on Trajecsys and you can see each essential skill, and it can do a listing of what students' grades were on that skill. And just looking over the skills, it's really more in depth, but looking over the skills to see what skills maybe need some tweaking of how they were taught, because a lot of the students, maybe didn't complete that essential skill on their first attempt. So hopefully we're going to be getting into that. Our college is huge into assessment. I don't know if everybody else's college is really digging into that now, really leaning into it, but ours does, and that's going to be huge for that as well.
Great. Well, thank you, for sharing that. It just goes to show that with Trajecsys, it's not all or nothing. You can start small and again, get familiar in the essential skills side of it, and then, see how it's going to fit and work, in your program in other ways. Now, I do want to share real quick about the customization a little bit that you talked about, Jackie, because you mentioned how all of your programs have rubrics. And so with that, we really are all about customization. So you were kind enough to just share a quick one of the rubrics that you had used on paper. And so just to give you an idea, this is what it would look like. Everybody that's been in education has seen the rubric before, but this is just a rubric for one of those essential skills that Jackie shared with me. But then also just to be able to show that we can customize that. And really it's about bringing your rubrics and your paperwork into Trajecsys. So here is, it's still a packed volume rubric. You can have that exclamation or explanation area at the top there. And then there's still those 4 areas. So they correlate to the same scoring options and allow you just to move through the system quickly. Go ahead and grade the student, as Jackie mentioned, while you're in the lab doing that said skill. Scrolling down to the bottom, and then you can submit it. And then you have that in an electronic format. So again, the students are not seeing anything different than what they used to look at on paper, and same thing with the instructor. So it just makes it a very seamless process moving from paper into an electronic format. And really, we're customizing your program in Trajecsys. It's not a blanket list of skills with generic rubrics. It's really the time and effort that you've put into building those rubrics. You know, Jackie, you mentioned yours are a little bit more extensive in some areas than, you know, maybe other programs are, but that's great because that's what we can offer at Trajecsys.
Right. And they can be very simplified too. It can say the student passed the PCV essential skill. I mean,
Absolutely.
it can have just that in there. Our program is actually, I learned how to make rubrics at the AVT conference, and so then brought it back to the program. And so definitely it can be that detailed, or it can be just the basics, you know, student passed PCV essential skill.
Right. Great. Well, before we move into having Haley kind of share her journey with Trajecsys, I just wanted to stop and see if there were any questions or anything before we move on. All right.
Doesn't look like there's any in the chat.
Thanks, Todd. All right, Haley. So if you want to go, I know you are a little bit different, as we talked earlier, that you're a veterinary assistance program. So if you just kind of want to share how you heard about Trajecsys and decided to move forward in using us in your program.
Yeah, so Caris is a really small school, but we are a medical, patient care college. So all of our programs currently are in the healthcare field. Other than us, we are in the animal healthcare field, but we're the one outlier. So they were already using Trajecsys with some of their other programs, including the sonography program and the dental program. So when I first came on, I came right as our first group ever to get through the program was getting to externship stage. And at that point, we were just doing things on paper. But it was a small group. We had 3 students in the first group. So keeping up with their time and their skills and things like that wasn't too big of a deal. But as our groups grew, it got to be more of a headache. So I didn't think that, I was a little intimidated by Trajecsys at first because it seemed like something else to put on my plate. You know, and I was kind of a one-woman show at this point, teaching all the classes and trying to keep up with everything. But really, it was really nice because Heidi came out, you know, did a Zoom session with us and really talked us through the process and what it was going to be like, and where it's so customizable, you know, with our requirements being a lot different than technician programs and how we have to score their skills and track their time and things like that. She was able to customize it to exactly what we were doing on paper, but in a much more streamlined way, with much more precise reports on time and things like that, where I was just, you know, doing math and rounding and things like that before. We were able to track our time and everything else really well. So we use it only for the externship portion right now. So when the students go to externship, they use it as a time clock to clock in and out, which is really nice because it has the GPS function, so we can make sure they're at the correct site. They're not clocking in at home or anything like that. And then the site supervisor can go in and we score their skills on a 1 to 5 basis. And they need a 3 to pass the skill. So everything is just very simple and laid out for them in there. So it's easy for my clinical coordinator to just kind of run through and see what the students are doing. We can track their progress easier. So we can check up on them as the quarter goes on to make sure they're reaching their benchmarks for how many skills they need to complete, and things of that nature. So it's been really nice in that sense that we can kind of customize it and tweak it. And we are a new program. We've only been around for just shy of 2 years now. We've had about a year out from our first group graduating. So we can tweak things as we find things that work better and things like that. And so literally it takes a quick email to Heidi and she can adjust things on the spot if we need her to, or if we're having a concern. I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world. So if something is confusing me, or if I'm struggling with something, which happens plenty, because again, computers hate me. So it's really helpful. We can just shoot a quick email to Heidi and she can break it down in a way that I understand, but it's also super easy for our students to use. And our site supervisors can just go in there and see everything very easily. So we use it for skill tracking, hours tracking, and then some evaluations, like our sites do an evaluation on the student at the end, a performance review, and our students will do an evaluation on our site as well. And we do all that within Trajecsys, and we can just print off the records all at one time, uploaded it into the student file. And it's just a nice streamlined way to handle the information that was pretty messy before with several different forms.
Right. And I really appreciate you sharing, again, that fear of being that
Yeah.
one-man show and adding something else to your plate, because I feel like that's feedback that we get a lot. Like I can't imagine, moving to a new platform because I'm doing this all on my own right now. And, to have somebody that's kind of been through that and to be able to share, like, yes, it's daunting, but, the transition, the support that's offered is there to make that a much simpler transition, so that really where you want to be spending your time is in the classroom with your students, and having that support to know that you can be able to track those skills while they're at their externship without having it take away from other responsibilities that you have. So thank you for sharing.
I had flashbacks of I was in practice when we went from paper files to like Cornerstone and putting everything onto the computer, and it was a terrible process.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cornerstone now, but at the time it was awful, and I was terrified that was what this was going to be like. I thought switching to Trajecsys was going to be this giant headache like it was then, but it really, there was very few speed bumps along the way. It really wasn't bad. And again, it was just me at first, and then my clinical coordinator came on, and we were able to, it really saves us a ton of time now. And even in the implementation process, it didn't take that much out of my day to, shoot Heidi an email or whatever to make the tweaks that we need. So it really was a lot smoother of a process than I thought it was going to be.
Well, good. And, again, back to even your, mentioning your students, and that's very true. We know nowadays all of our students are going to have their phones on them. So knowing now that they can just get onto their phones, do what they need to do, in regards to essential skills or that evaluation, it's great. They don't want to carry the clunky, binder around and have to worry about losing, they're not used to that, so to have that option is great. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm just going to share just a couple more screens and just kind of walk you through a little bit.
And break it up.
I'm breaking up.
No, do you want a question?
Sure, I would love
a question that came
Yay!
in. Is there the ability to create your own rubrics, or does someone else need to create them? And at some point, I'm sure the broad strokes, understanding cost and those kind of considerations would be appreciated if you hit on that. I'm sure you've got that plan too.
Yeah, so you can definitely, if you have your own rubrics, then you just send them to the setup team after, you come in with Trajecsys. You would send that to the setup team, and they would go ahead and just take the rubrics that you currently use and customize and build them into your, your program here in Trajecsys. But we also do have some that you could probably utilize from other programs that have come in that have agreed to share their forms with you. So we may have some available. I can't say that we have all the rubrics, but there may be some that would be available in there for you to utilize or clone into your program, but definitely don't have to. You can create your own and bring those in. What kind of reports can you make? Can you make reports of all skills criteria?
You're killing my job as you read. But that's awesome. So you know the question already. But it's what kind of reports can you make? Can you make reports of all skills criteria, rubric, and grades for each grouping, nursing, management, maybe Chick-fil-A lover, take your pick?
Now, the reporting, yes, you can really run a report on any of the evaluations that you bring into the system. All of the essential skills, kind of as Jackie alluded to, you could go in and take a look at a specific skill and see all of the students in that skill. You could run a report by the student and be able to see all of the essential skills that they've completed in their scores. So we have a number of reporting capabilities to meet both the CVTEA, regards for accreditation purposes, and then just your needs for your program. Really, the best way to see everything that we offer is on our web tours. Our web tours are about an hour long and really are going to walk you through, show you exactly how your students can utilize the system, as well as any of your externship coordinators or preceptors at your site, and then also all the capabilities that would be available for you as program directors or coordinators.
Yeah, we run a report on pretty much any value that we need to track. We're able to run a report on it, and then we can have it down. We save them into we have a like a computer drive that's shared amongst the whole program, like all the faculty, and we have student files in there. So we save the individual reports to the individual computerized student files. And as well, we use Popularly as a learning platform. We can upload those reports there. So it just makes keeping track of things much easier and much more precise. If there's ever a question, we can just pull that report back up and we have an official document that shows you did X, Y, and Z, you worked so many hours, so on and so forth.
Yeah, you can track by the skill, you can track by the class, by the student. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways, because we usually do that. So at the end of my class, everyone has to have completed all of the essential skills for that class. So as an instructor, I go ahead and I just look at or print out, if I need to, actually what students haven't completed, what skill. And so then within the last week, they get a chance to attempt at a skill again. So yeah, there's lots of different ways you can use it for tracking. And the AVMA likes it because it's so much different than digging. I remember several visits ago, we had to roll in this metal cart with all of these mortgage packages, and just the simplicity of it. It's easy for instructors to use. You know, it's obviously you're going to always have a learning curve learning a new program, but instructors now use it, and it's just as easy to get it to enter the skills as the students are doing them. So. And Heidi's great. I just have to put in a mention for Heidi. Heidi is great.
Heidi's amazing.
Yeah, she's everybody at Trajecsys has been really great. Heidi has been just a rock star. Yeah,
she is. She's fabulous.
Fabulous.
Really, this process would have been way harder without her help, I think.
Yeah.
And all of our support team members are great. Heidi gets the vet tech, moreover, because as Jackie mentioned, she's a, vet tech as well. So it's, a little bit easier, but that's the one thing with Trajecsys is our support that is offered. I can speak from it kind of on both sides because I used the system before I came to work for Trajecsys. So I built and implemented it in a radiography program. And again, same thing. I had Sue Ellen, and Sue Ellen was amazing. I'd email her, and within an hour, she'd be like, "You're set, Mandy. Here you go." So we really have been blessed with a great support staff.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, do I have any more questions?
I think that you've covered them all.
Okay, perfect. I think I saw somebody ask if they could upload documents.
Yeah, can you upload documents as well for each externship?
So administrators in the system have access to be able to upload documents and have them visible for the students to see, externship coordinators, whoever they may need to have them available to. But administrators are the only ones that can upload documents to the system. But yes, you can.
Yeah, we will often upload, like at the beginning, we upload a reminder of expectations at their externship site and things like that. We kind of have an extra document of that available for our students to see, just so they can't say they didn't see it, even though they signed saying they see it. But students sometimes forget. So if we upload what they're supposed to be wearing, how their timing's supposed to be, and all those type of things, their conduct while they're there, then they have another place they can see it. So we'll usually upload it on there for them to be able to see as well.
And everybody has kind of mentioned the GPS options. We talked about the essential skills. So I just wanted to kind of come in and just take a minute to just show you exactly how it looks in the system. As I already mentioned, really the best way to see the system is to come in and set up a web tour with me. I'm happy to walk you through. But this is something that we would cover, but just a quick overview to come in and just see, that all of those essential skills are listed. You can really customize it and have them broken into skills, if it's per course, if it is, ones that are done during their externship. So just a lot of different options. And again, our support team are the ones that are going to be really amazing, you come to them and you say, I need this upload, or, I need this in the system. Where is it going to fit the best? And they're really going to be able to, help you build your program to fit your needs and how it's going to work best for you. And then just another quick showing of the time, when the students clock in and out. I'm going to go into the student side here just so you can see the GPS locator. So let me log out here. See that? Or log back in. So when the students clock in and out, as they mentioned, you can have there's different options. One of them is for them to be able to use their mobile phones to be able to track with GPS just exactly where they were when they hit that button to clock in and out. That's all we're capturing. But you'll see here, it's the latitude and longitudinal point on a map. So when you click on that, you can see the blue pin is where the students were supposed to be when they clocked in for clinic. The green pin is where they were for their externship. And so it's just letting you know that they were in that area that you set up, that you chose for them to be. And, so just, again, it's really a nice way, whether it's, at your clinic, at your college, to be able to see it. If they're out at externship, you're going to be able to have a lot of this information at your fingertips to be able to see if you're going to approve the time that they spent at that barn or at that, vet hospital, because were they really where they said they were supposed to be. So any other questions for me? Any other comments, things that you guys would like to add?
The only thing I would like to add is if you have any questions, I'm going to be at the AVTE conference happily in Philly. And so definitely just walk up and introduce yourself, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
And if you can't find Jackie but want to find Jackie, because I feel like I have to redeem myself now, I will be I am findable by radio the entire conference. Look with somebody who is a wannabe Secret Service agent with an earpiece in their ear, ask them for Todd. They'll radio me, I will find Jackie, you will meet Jackie. It will be that simple.
Hunt me down at the local Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I know where it is compared to the hotel, Jackie. We're sneaking out.
Okay, gotcha.
There we go. And there was the question, how do you set up a demo? Amanda at Trajecsys.com.
Yeah. If I haven't already emailed you, then definitely send me an email. Let me know that you were on the roundtable today and that you're interested in setting up a demo, and I will be happy to schedule that. Like I said, they last about an hour. And we usually do them Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So anytime within that time frame, we can set up a date and time that works well.
Sounds great. Well, thank you, my three friends. It was always nice to see you. It will be much more fun to see you in person. Absolutely. We will get this tape out to everyone and whatnot. If you do have additional questions that we couldn't get to, hit that email address, Amanda at Trajecsys.com. And we'll go from there. Hopefully we'll see you or connect with you in Philly. And we'll go from there. Everybody have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too, Todd. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.